Tradespotting Podcast, Episode 1. The Man Who Poisoned the Planet. A man walks into your home and quietly replaces your air, your fuel, and your children's IQ with a slow-acting poison, then dies tangled in the ropes of his own ego. Welcome to the story of Thomas Midgley Jr., the man who invented global-scale brain damage and then doubled down by cracking a hole in the sky. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Midgley skipped the paving and went straight to laying a tarmac of neurotoxins, ozone eaters, and PR spin so toxic it could melt a gas mask. Act 1. The knock heard round the world. In 1921, General Motors had a problem. Engines knocking like a Jehovah's Witness with a mortgage to sell. Every time a car starts, the pistons complain like they're on strike. Enter Thomas Midgley, an engineer with a lab coat, a chemistry set, and the moral compass of a spilled oil drum. He solves the issue by adding tetraethyl lead, a substance so poisonous it had already been known to cause insanity, paralysis, then death in the factory workers. But it makes the engine quiet, said Midgley. Like putting a pillow over a crying baby. Effective, yes. Ethical, another matter. GM and Standard Oil rebranded this poison as ethyl. The word lead scrubbed like blood off corporate hands. Act 2, the PR spin cycle. Critics rise. Scientists warn. Workers start dying, twitching, hallucinating, drooling in vats of their own doom. So what does our Midgley do? He holds a press conference, rolls up his sleeves, and washes his hands in leaded petrol. A PR stunt, sure. A suicide note, almost. He develops lead poisoning twice and takes time off to recover, which is code for almost turning into soup. But the corporations back him like a mafia lawyer defends a mob boss, fully, loudly, and with zero shame. Over the next 50 years, leaded petrol poisons millions and millions of children, spikes violent crime rates across the world, and arguably lowers the global IQ by several collective points. Thomas Midgley didn't just knock engines into line, he knocked brains off course for a generation. Act 3. From lead. Act 3. From lead to leaks. Inventing a hole in the sky. Apparently unsatisfied with just one planetary catastrophe, Midgley switched jobs and partners with DuPont to tackle refrigerant safety. At the time, people were blowing up. People were blowing up their kitchens using ammonia-based coolants. So he invents chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, aka Freon. It's non-toxic, they say. It's a miracle gas, they say. It'll be fine, they say. Right before it chews a hole through the stratosphere the size of Antarctica. CFCs are found to destroy ozone molecules, punching a skylight into Earth's protective UV shield. With two inventions, Midgley had managed to poison the earth and cut a hole in the sky. Act 4, killed by himself. In 1940, Midgley contracts polio and becomes bedridden. Ever the inventor, he designs an elaborate rope and pulley contraption to help lift himself from the bed. It works brilliantly until it doesn't. He becomes entangled in the contraption and dies by strangulation. The final act of a man who built disasters was to become one, collapsing into his own innovation like a black hole of bad ideas. Act 5. The legacy you can't wash off. Thomas Midgley Jr. was never tried, never blamed, and never punished. His name lives on mostly in science horror documentaries and the fine print of climate summits. He did not die a villain, he died a scientist. But if your ideas lower the IQ of a generation and burn a hole in the sky, do your intentions still matter? His inventions were banned decades too late. Leaded petrol era only ended in most places in the 2000s. Some countries still use it. No one has ever done more environmental harm as an individual, not even close. And still, he has no statue, only fallout. Thomas Midgley Jr., the man who solved one problem by inventing three more, and died as he lived, caught in a trap of his own making. Up next time, another boardroom bastard whose business model was built on bad decisions and worse intentions. Until then, this has been Boardroom Bastards, the trade spotting podcast, reminding you that the worst thing about late stage capitalism is how early it starts killing.